Hey, so today I'm going to show you really quickly how to consistently upload blog posts for your WordPress website that are going to look consistent every single time. So you're not going to really have to do any of the formatting. We're going to take care of all that on the front end. So when you upload your blog post, all you're really going to have to do is take care of the writing and then labeling the headings. And there's a couple other options I'll show you of things you can add, but you want to keep the blog posts that you write very, very simple. So what we're going to do is create these. The form that we're going to upload to WordPress is going to be a Google Doc. And I've been using them in that mode for many years. Before we had writing tools also. Now, of course, there's AI. So if we're going to make this a little more realistic, most people are at the very least going to start at least in an AI tool or something to help them create their structural outline. From the outline, they may bring that in and do some editing and then do some writing back and forth with AI. So I just encourage you, don't just rely on AI. Definitely add your own touch to it. Make sure you have some personal experiences. Be sure you have some information there that's going to really set it apart and create something that anyone else couldn't put a prompt in and get that AI response back. So it's going to be something unique to you. But with that being said, AI is definitely a tool. I use it all the time as a tool in order to create stuff. But let's say we are creating a post, and this is just an AI one because it's not going to be published. But let's say we had AI here create a blog post for us. So how to fold a pocket square. And I purposely put in some H2s, H3s, H1s. And if you're not aware, every post, every page on your website should have an H1 tag. The one is representing that is the most important phrase on the page. H2 are the subheadings below that. H3s are within that. So you want to make sure that when you bring stuff in, you've got one H1 and you're going to have multiple H2s for every subtopic. And then if you've got a topic inside of those would be the H3s. So if we had created this in a AI tool, something like that, what we'd want to do is copy this. And so you've got a couple options here. Typically, you could just paste this right into Google Docs. The problem is the AI a lot of times will add extra code to this, extra formatting. This works the same too if you're using pretty much any other type of writer. So there's a lot of other writing tools out there that have been around for a lot of years. But so what I typically actually recommend you do, it's not much extra work here, to be sure you've stripped all of this out, is I'll actually open up Notepad. So here with a fresh open Notepad, if I paste it in here instead, I'm going to get completely raw, stripped out, whatever you want to call it, just plain text. There's no formatting, no anything. This lets me know for sure when I paste it into Google Docs, it's going to only give me the basic text, and from there I can format it. And the reason you want to do that is to make sure that the only thing that you're importing or you're copying and pasting into WordPress is going to be the text and the titles. So what we're going to do is real simply, we're going to choose the top line that's going to be our H1. So this is always going to be the first thing on there. All you're going to do is change from normal text to apply heading 1. So now I've got a heading 1. We've got several H2s in here, so we'll do this one. We're going to go normal text heading 2. Do it again here. Normal text heading 2. And if we look down here some more, looks like this one actually is going to be a heading 3. So we've got a heading 3 under a heading 2. And then here we've got some bullets. So we can look at what we originally had. Good rules of thumb. Actually wasn't an H3, but we can make it an H3. And we've got these bullets. Let's see, match, keep, less. So go back over here, match, keep, less. So that's going to be through here. So those are going to be bullets. So we'll go ahead and make those bullets. If we wanted to make them numbers, we could click those instead. We'll just leave them as bullets. Take another look. Okay, then I've got another heading here. So we'll call that one to heading 2. And take a look. We've got more bullets from pocket to care. So that's all these. And I'll just give these a number. And okay, so this part is actually not part of my numbering. So I'm going to undo that one. We're going to make this one an H3. And then we'll grab these. Okay, we've got some more bullets. We'll make this one an H2. Whoops. There, heading H2. Okay, so we've got that one there. I'm just going to go through real quick and go ahead and set the rest of these up real fast with the same method. Okay, so now you've got, we've taken the original and we've just added our bullets. We've added an H1, we've added some H2s, added some H3s. Okay, so now we have all our content here. And at this point too, a couple things we could do. So the only kind of formatting we really want to do here, we may want to bold something, not any of the headlines, but the headlines you don't want to bold, don't want to italic, you don't want to do anything to them. The reason for that is we've already predefined what our H1s look like, our H2s and our H3s. We've also defined what the text is going to look like. So our H1s, H2s, H3s, you absolutely don't want to bold them. It's not going to look like what it looks like here. When it gets to the website's going to say what it wants H2s to look like. So it's maybe a specific font, specific color, but by just saying it's an H2 and having that class set up on your website to say make every single H2 look like this, all of them will be the same. Same with the H1s, H3s, the bullets, everything, etc. However, you may have a time where you want to make something italic or bold inside the copy, or even make a link. So with links, you can do that right here. Let's say smooth out any wrinkles. Maybe want to make that a link. In Google Docs, you will just click the link button. I'm just going to have this go to Google. Okay, just apply that. So now it's going to be a link. And when we paste this in, that link is going to maintain its position there. So if I want to say bottom corner, I want that to be bold, and folded triangle, I want that to be italic. Outside of that, that's really the only type of styling you should do in Google Docs. We're just sitting in the basic structure so that we make sure every blog post bullets, every blog post H1, H2, H3, those are all going to look the same. And so let's go ahead and copy all of this. And then we're going to jump over to our website. And so from here, all of our blog posts are going to be inside of posts. So if you want to see everything that exists, you can click all posts. This is going to show you all the blog posts currently. Your layout may look different than this. I've got some thumbnails added so I can see. I've got like meta title and meta description here just so I can see if I've done those things, making sure they're done. But if you want to add a new post, we're just going to click add post. And from here, if we take a look back, we actually highlighted even the title here. So remember, this is our H1 all the way up here. So since we highlighted everything, all we have to do is paste it right where it's at. So that's going to put our title in there, our H2s, H3s. And again, this still is not formatted the way it's going to be shown on the website. So this is just the editor and the back end, but we didn't have to mess around with trying to set up all these bullets and stuff in here. Those are all done in Google Docs. It's a lot easier, and we can paste it in here. And that's the only instructions we're giving it, which is great because all the actual instructions for the front of the website is controlled through CSS. So now we want to add a photo. So what I recommend is that you're going to have a main photo, which if we designed your site, it's most likely going to be at the very top of this page. And also on the category pages, if you're looking at a group of different blog posts, it's like basically what they would call an archive page or just a list of blog posts. So you guys are all familiar with that. You'll see a little picture with the title and you click that to go in. So that's like a category page. That image size that works here, works there. It's kind of a universal size and it's going to be 1200 pixels by 630 pixels. And that's used by Facebook, Instagram, not Instagram, sorry, but Twitter, LinkedIn. It's a very popular size. It works really well with blog posts. So, you can do some crazy stuff, but for ease of use and for the most versatility, I say just go with a 1200 by 630. And so what we're going to do here, just to give you a little outline of what is on this page, you have two different options over here. So you have the settings for block. And what that means is which block of stuff are you looking at over here. So this is an H3, that's a block. Here's some text, that's a block. Here's an H2, that's a block. If you had an image in here, that would be a block. So each of these pieces is a block. And so these settings are for whichever block I'm currently looking at. So you typically, for me, I don't ever really mess with the block settings very much because I'm handling everything on the front end to maintain consistency. But what we do need is the post. So the post section is actually going to be things that affect the entire post. So like the main image or the meta description that describes this post. Also, what category is this post in? So that's going to be down here too. So post is what we're going to want here. We're going to want to choose an image that we've already sized to 1200 by 630. If you need if you don't have an image that size or you're not sure how to do it, and you're working with us, you can send us the image. We will format it in the best possible size to make sure it works for you. But if you have one, we're just going to say set featured image, and you're going to grab one. I know these are 1200 by 630, or at least this one is 1200 by 630. So we're going to set this as the featured image. Then we're going to add an excerpt. So this is just a short little blurb from the blog post. It can actually be a cut from the blog post, or it can be a general descriptor of the blog post. One thing that's common that we do here is we'll take the excerpt and we're actually going to make that the meta description. So we write the excerpt so that it is a meta description, which means it needs to be 160 characters or less. You should include at the top your primary keyword that you're trying to target with this blog post. So if this one were, how to fold a pocket square, really quickly, I could create something or have AI do it and just paste it in here. And so that's now my excerpt. So I have my image, I have my excerpt. We had that link. If you notice, there's a link still here. If I wanted to add some images, okay, that we can do that through here. So this is where we will use the editor. Sometimes you can actually paste them in from Google Docs, but this part's pretty simple. So I actually will like to add the images over here. So you'll just find where you want it after. So maybe I want an image before this bullet. I can go up here and hit enter. It's going to create a line, or I can actually just click the block that I want. I like this method a little better. Click the block where you want it to be in front of or behind. So I want this picture above this. So I'm going to say add before. And that's going to give me the option to say what kind of block do I want to add. And in this case, I want to add an image block. So it pulls in that, and now it's going to ask me where do I want to get this image from. So I'm going to go to the media library where I've got all my images. At this point, I could upload a new one, or I could just grab one. The internal images don't have to be the 12 by 630. You can do whatever you want. I typically make them 800 pixels or smaller in width, only because the copy is displayed on the screen is never going to be, at least if we design it, it's not going to be wider than 800 pixels. So if you make it any bigger than that, it's going to resize it down smaller anyway. So you're really adding extra stuff that isn't needed. So we're going to grab these. These are 800 by 400. They're as wide as it'll go. I'm going to select that. And so now I've added an image. We've got our content. We've got everything here. The last thing we need to do is to pick the category. So if you've got categories set up, like here we've got categories for analytics and business tutorials and case studies. So I'll just say analytics and maybe yoga. I did some yoga articles a while ago. And so we're going to just hit publish and publish again. So now this blog post will be live, so we can view the post. And if we take a look here, you're going to see we've got that image. Here's our excerpt that's going to be at the top. The H1 actually got stuck all the way up here. Consistent with every other post we have. The excerpt's here, consistent with every post. These H2s are like every other post. We've got H3s. The bullets are set up. The font inside is set up. So all of this stuff has a consistent look. Now here's our link, and the link you'll notice is a specific color. Again, that's all designed. So if you want us to upload these for you, if you make that document for us in that format, just making Google Docs, you've got H1s, H2, H3s, we'll be able to add it really quickly. But honestly, if you've got it that far, all you got to do is paste it in here and you'll be good to go. So I hope that helps, and thanks.